I was 36 years old when I found the letter. It wasn't hidden in a dramatic place. No locked drawer. No secret box. It was inside an old cookbook on the top shelf of my mother's kitchen. A book she never used, with pages stuck together from grease and time. The letter fell out when I lifted the book, landing on the floor like it had been waiting for me. My name was written on the envelope in my mother's handwriting. That alone made my chest tighten, because my mother had been dead for 3 years. For most of my life, she was quiet. Not cold. Not cruel. Just distant, like she was always somewhere else, even when she was sitting right in front of me. She never talked about my childhood. Never talked about my father. Never talked about why we moved cities when I was 7, or why we never stayed in one place for long. I stopped asking questions early. You learn fast when silence is the only answer you'll ever get. The letter was dated 22 years earlier. I stood there in her empty kitchen, holding an envelope that had survived decades without being opened. My hands were shaking, and I remember thinking something strange. If she wanted me to read this, why didn't she give it to me? I opened it anyway. The paper was yellowed and soft, like it had been folded and unfolded 1,000 times. The first line said, "If you're reading this, it means I failed to say these words out loud." I sat down on the kitchen floor. She wrote slowly, carefully, like she was afraid of every sentence. She wrote about the night I was born, about how my father left the hospital before sunrise and never came back, about how she told everyone he died in an accident because the truth felt worse. The truth was that he chose not to stay. I already knew that part, or at least I suspected it. But then the letter changed. She wrote about a man named Daniel, a name I had never heard before. Daniel was not my father. He was the man who wanted to be. She met him when I was 3. He loved me immediately. Took me to the park, taught me how to ride a bike, held my hand crossing streets. And then she wrote the sentence that made my throat close. I pushed him away because I was afraid you would love him more than me. I had to stop reading. I stared at the wall, trying to breathe, realizing that entire pieces of my life were missing. Those memories I thought were dreams were actually real. The man with the deep laugh, the smell of motor oil, the way someone used to sit on the edge of my bed at night. He wasn't imaginary. She wrote that Daniel wanted to adopt me, wanted to give me his last name, wanted to stay. She said no, not because he wasn't good enough, but because she was scared. Scared of being replaced, scared of losing control, scared of loving someone who might leave. So, she left him first. We moved 3 months later. New city. New school. New life. No explanations. And then came the line that shattered me completely. He wrote letters for years. I never gave them to you. I felt something break inside my chest. She kept writing. About guilt. About regret. About how every birthday felt heavier because she knew someone else was missing it too. She said she planned to tell me when I turned 18, then 25, then 30, and then time ran out. The last paragraph was short. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I'm asking you to know that you were loved in ways you never saw. At the bottom of the letter was an address. Daniel's address. I stared at it for a long time. 3 years after her death, she was still controlling my silence. But this time I didn't let her. 2 weeks later, I stood in front of a small blue house with peeling paint and a porch that leaned slightly to the left. I knocked. An older man opened the door. Gray hair. Same deep eyes I'd seen in the mirror my whole life. He looked at me for exactly 2 seconds before his face changed. "You grew up," he said. "Not who are you, not can I help you? Just you grew up." I nodded. He stepped aside without another word. Inside his living room were photos, dozens of them. Photos of me. School pictures I didn't know existed, blurry shots of me at playgrounds. One photo of me sleeping in a car seat. "I asked your mother for one photo every year," he said quietly. "Sometimes she sent them. Sometimes she didn't." I didn't cry. Neither did he. We sat there for hours, talking about nothing and everything, about the life he lived without me, about the life I lived without him. When I finally stood up to leave, he said something I'll never forget. "I never stopped being ready." I visit him every Sunday now. We don't try to replace the past. We don't pretend time didn't steal things from us. We just sit, drink coffee, talk slowly. Some losses don't get fixed. They just get acknowledged. And sometimes, that's enough.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more videos.